So a flyer went up promoting a course with a name that I can't say on the radio, but it's about sex toys. And did you ever see The Hobbit?
Yeah.
So the main character, Bilbo
Baggins.
It's similar in a way to the name of the toy that's on this flyer, just so people are on the same page. And it was posted in the boys' bathroom. This all happened at Bethel High School in Spanaway. Students who saw it were shocked. Probably some thought it was kind of funny. Because on this flyer, it advertised a 2-hour after-school class scheduled for 4 sessions, allegedly at the library at Bethel High School. Students would be charged either $7 or $8 to attend. And on this flyer, you had images of lubricant and the sex toy referenced in the title. And then it says, learn how to safely and responsibly use and lube on you or your partners. Okay. Now, I see the flyer. I've got a photo of it over at mynorthwest.com or KTTH.com. And it turns out it was a prank. I spoke to a spokesperson at the district who said once the staff at the high school learned that this was up, they immediately removed it. Some probably with a little bit of a chuckle as they did. But the thing is, this isn't really a story about a prank. Pranks happen all the time. Who cares? It's that the flyer wasn't recognized as a prank that interests me. Because a student took a photo of this, sent it to his dad, and the dad reached out to me, who said, could you look into this? This is outrageous. When I saw the image, I also thought it was a serious flyer, at least initially. That I thought it was serious, that the parent thought it was serious, that apparently students thought it was serious, kind of speaks volumes about how extreme educators have gotten in this state, and high schools and middle schools and elementary schools and even kindergartners. It's about how far they've taken their ideology, brought it into the classroom, that all of us looked at this and said, I wonder if this is real, right? That a prank didn't even come to my mind. It didn't come to anyone's mind. And all the father said initially when he wrote to me, said, this is not okay. And I agree. In a state where we have a school district that awards middle schoolers grants to put on drag shows. In a state where we had a school board director hosting 9-year-old kids for a sex education class in a sex shop, a sex toy safety class, that's not unimaginable. If anything, that's like the least offensive of some of the events
relatively
that have been put
PG.
on. It really is when you think about it. And by the way, 2 hours for that course? They might not have thought that one through. Maybe that was the tell. 2 hours. Isn't it like a 7-minute course? 2 hours. Now, the dad in an email to me said, it's crazy that this is the atmosphere we're in. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they put something like this up. Last night when my son showed me, my reaction was, how could they allow this in the school? The worst part is it is entirely possible in today's world. Bethel School District, however, is in a more conservative area than, say, Tacoma. So I'm sure parents would freak out if they saw this. Now, we don't know if any student or students were held responsible for this flyer. I'm told that pranks like this are extremely rare because I responded to the spokesperson. I'm like, just out of curiosity, does this happen a lot? He said something like, I've never seen anything like this before happen. And to be clear, Bethel High School clearly handled this appropriately. Usually when we're doing stories like this, it follows immediately with some sort of criticism of the school saying, I can't believe this happened. How could they allow this to happen? No, they did everything, I think, right here. And given the relatively harmless nature of said prank, I don't know if students should face any serious consequences if they end up finding who's responsible. Maybe a stern talking to. Don't do that again. And I say that because for all I know, the prankster or pranksters might have been making a point about how radical schools have become in Washington State, and I think they would have a very, very, very fair point. It's a valid point. Just a few years ago, before local educators really leaned in to the racial ideas, the gender ideas, the radical view about race being, I don't even know what to say at this point. You look at someone and now you can tell whether or not they're oppressed or oppressors. Just on looks. Looks alone. You're an oppressor. Jackson, you, sir, are an oppressor. White guy over there.
Well, that's true, but
Then all the stuff around gender, it's fluid. You can have 13,000 different genders all at once or none at all somehow. I don't know. Tomorrow you can have one. The day after another. Personal pronouns, they're not even words. Sometimes they're just noises. Z. That's a noise. When they leaned into that, we started to get stuff like this very class as a possibility. But before that, the idea that a flyer would be up saying exactly the same thing, all of us immediately would have said that's a prank. All of us. Every single one would look at that and not a single person would fall for it. But now, in 2025, following years of the radical lecturing, the indoctrination, the sexualizing kids, encouraging kids to identify as trans, hiding inappropriate and personal discussions on gender identity from their parents, is it really so far-fetched to believe a flyer like this could be real at a high school or elementary school or middle school in Washington State? No, which is the problem. That is the problem, and that's what the story is about. If you want to see the flyer, I did have to blur it, but the way I blurred it makes it look even worse, if I'm being honest. It's a very phallic blur. It's available at KTTH.com.